part of the class just because I have a lot of materials to cover and I'm always going back and forth between the materials, so I don't want to miss anything. Yep, so again, thank you all for getting on the call. To introduce myself, my name is Dr. Reed. Let me go ahead and take roll by documenting who is here through the participants. I have 12 people online and myself is a total of 13. So we have 2 live lectures in this course. Just to note to everyone, I have been teaching, so a little bit about me. I have been teaching for a little over 5 years. I teach for the University of Houston as well as Columbia Southern. I teach, of course, OSH courses. A little bit about myself. Can everyone still hear me? I noticed some background noise. Okay. All right, so you can hear me. All right, okay, I wondered if I was losing anyone. All right, okay. All right, so again, I've been teaching with the university for a little over, for the Columbia Southern, a little over 3 years, almost 3 years, okay, and total of teaching in the discipline almost 5 years, and I work full-time. It is critical to know that my primary means of communication, just a second, let me take the roll again, someone else just joined, so I'm going to click on here. So my primary means of communication with students is email. I do have my phone number that I will share with you at the end of our first live lecture. So I have a slide deck we're going to talk about. And in the end, you will see my phone number listed. I am not really in the socials, right? I am. I have the TikTok. I have, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, but not with students. So just to make that clear, if you have a question, concern, you can send me a message through the link what the university provides us through Collaborate, or you can go ahead and email me, and my email for the university is going to be attached. Sending me a message in LinkedIn or Facebook and wanting to befriend me or friend me is not a good idea. I just kind of don't want to seem to be standoffish, but I do not want until you guys are out of my class or done with the university, then if we want to become friends online and, socials, then that's fine, but not while you're in my class. So please do not use socials as the primary means of trying to get in touch with me. You do have my phone number. You do have my email address. So what we're going to do today is we're going to cover some course overview and the assignments related to the courses. Agenda. And the reason why I do this in my live lecture number 1 is because there are a few things that I need to talk about as far as APA style of writing and also what's expected of each of you throughout the course. So we're going to be online today for approximately an hour. So if you have any question, go ahead and stop me. You guys have all introduced yourselves in the live, in the Unit 1 discussion board. So thank you. I read everyone. I thought a lot of vast variety of differences and different makeups of all of us. Where we see, a lot of you have military backgrounds. You've lived in cities or live in cities that I've lived in. So I agree that we have a lot of similarities there. So as OSH practitioners and professionals, you never know. You might see me. I'm very active with the American Society of Safety Professionals. Not that I'm plugging that, but you might see me on a lot of committees. I serve on the the board with Women in Safety Engineering or Women in Safety Professionals, and also other committees with the PDC Planning Committee, with ASSP. So at the society level, at the regional level, I am the area director for Region 3. So if you are in Region 3, we call that, it used to be the TOLA region, Texas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, and Arkansas. Now it's just the TOL region. I am over 6 chapters as the area director. So again, my background, I finished my PhD almost about 7 years ago. PhD, brick and mortar, safety sciences and engineering at Indiana University. I have also my master's in civil and environmental engineering from Tufts University. I did the brick and mortar on campus. In Medford, not Medford, it's Medford, Massachusetts, or it's close to Boston. And then I did my undergrad in chemistry. So wide range of experience, but when I came out of school, there was no safety degree. You either majored in engineering or environmental engineering in particular, and then you eventually moved into safety. So you guys are lucky. You have an OSH degree now. There's not too many schools with the OSH degree, so I enjoy teaching here. And with that, we'll go ahead and get started. Unless someone has a question or you're raising your hand about something, let me know. All right. Okay. Any questions? All right. So let's go ahead and get started. We have the chat there. If you have to stop me or anything, or you can't hear me, go ahead and just raise your hand or ding in. Also, like I said, I'm going to stay out of presentation mode. Let me know if you can't see my slides, but I cover a lot of different materials. And I'm not going to show my face on video. I can if you want, but once I open up a lot of things as well as video, I'm at home, I tend to get a slowed down connection. So we don't want anything to interrupt our connectivity. All right, so why I take the picture of the role. So I have to explain that. I teach undergrad as well as graduate courses here at the university. If you are listening in and you are not attending this live lecture, then you are to write me 3 things about what I talked about today in the class, and it needs to be 3 separate things. Not, oh, she talked about Unit 1 assignment, and Unit 1 assignment was due last week, and Unit 1 assignment was about this. Okay, you gave me 3 things, but you gave me 3 of the same exact things. I don't want that. That's not what I mean. I want 3 separate things. So I think a lot of people who listen to the recording stop after the first 5-10 minutes, and they don't, you know, tune into anything else. So that is number 1. And number 2, when you are listening to the recording, if you're not online, so these would be the people who are listening to the recording later, not you guys, you're 14 guys, I take roll. So I just took a picture, I'll take it at the beginning and I took it at the end of the recording, because there are sometimes I have people who tell me I was on the live lecture and they want 100%. And I'm like, you know what? I really don't remember you being on the live lecture. So I have that coming up a lot. So please, if you're not on the live lecture, just be truthful about it. Listen to the recording. Give me 3 things you took away. All right. Any questions about that? All right. Okay. So the first thing, we want to talk about the library. So I always go over the library materials, because this will be your best friend as you are matriculating in your career as a student at Columbia Southern. Whether you're taking an undergraduate level course or a graduate level course, you are going to need the library. I can put the live link in the chat. This is a live link. We actually contacted the librarian in our second lecture. We will do that later, not now, but we will meet with the librarian, because we have, you know, just to make sure that you guys are knowing what materials are out there for your access purposes. So I'm going to stop sharing really quickly, and I clicked on the live link of the library, and let's see, just a second. Okay. I think I brought up the library. Hold on. See, that's why I have to go through all these different tabs, and it just gets very misconstrued. So let me make sure I'm bringing up the right link. Hold on. All right. So we're clicking to open up the library. It's opening it up in another window. So just a minute. And I'm going to move it up to share it in here. All right. Okay. Share window library. All right, so there might be a time, everyone can see my screen, I'm in here with the library now. There might be a time where you're having to look up peer-reviewed articles, okay? And you might have to write in APA style, so we're gonna talk about that because unit number 3, the PowerPoint, a couple people already submitted. In unit number 7, the essay, you do need to write APA style. So if you are looking at the library, you have a lot of choices of databases. The library has a lot of options for you to contact them. Please make use of them. Please make use of the materials available to you in the library. Oh, is someone saying I'm not sharing? Just a second. I thought I was. Hold on. Yeah, I'm sharing. Can you all see that? I have no audio. Okay. Can everyone else hear me? Oh, okay. So
yes, can hear you.
yes. Okay. Thank you for confirming. Okay. So one person who has no audio. So can you not hear me or can you not speak? Maybe you want to log back out and log in. I don't know, but everybody else's audio appears to be working. So if you don't have it, I would suggest logging out and logging back in. Okay, so the library is what we were talking about. Let's continue with that. The library has some neat information there for you to be able to look up peer review articles. And the best part about it, as a student, all of this information, you have free reign and free access to it. I would say make sure you use it. When we talk about a peer review article, we're talking about an article that we can say that has been through the publishing of that into a journal or some type of magazine. It's also went through several scrutinized reviews to ensure that it's going to be published and have a DOI number. So you can look up here. So for instance, if we were looking up safety and accident prevention, okay, which is the title of our course, articles, and we're just going to look up articles on MSDs, so musculoskeletal disorders. We're looking up in the, oh goodness, why is it taking, I'm already in here. Okay, I don't know why it's taking me out. Sorry guys, just a second. All right, so yes. Okay, just a minute. I had all this pulled up and I guess I was not logging in right away, so it kicked me out. So now we're back to Duo. All right. Okay. All right. And we should be in. All right. Now I heard some dings come through. With the library, it says no. Okay, so we want to look for peer-reviewed articles on musculoskeletal disorders or something like that. My spelling is terrible. Okay, skeletal disorders. Okay. Just a second. So accept. Okay. Someone had a chat. Just a second. It worked. Okay. All right, great. The person who logged out, tried logging out and back in. Yep, it worked. All right. So this is just one. I'm just doing a quick search here. This might not be the best article, and I'm just going to say on incident rates in construction, for instance. Okay. Okay. So these are some of the things that the library can help you with. And You can search on different search engines such as EBSCO, Medline, different types of so with this, I would say if it says that you need to use peer review articles, make sure you know how to look for peer review articles. If you just want to look at regular articles, and I don't know what this is showing me. I just did a free search and put construction in there, and it's bringing up all different kinds of things. But anyway, so this is kind of what you would do in terms of looking up. You can look at EPUB, you could do Medline, you could do ebooks, videos, or peer review articles. So we're going to undo peer review, and we just want to do a free search on articles on incident rates, articles, okay, on incident rates in construction or accidents. We could say something about accidents in construction. Now it's taking a little bit longer. All right, so this is giving us like 863 articles. So again, I mentioned this just to say that if you want to look up a regular article or you want to look up something in an academic journal, if it has the check mark next to it indicating it's peer reviewed, most likely this journal has went through some scrutiny. It has a DOI number. It's a little bit more stringent in terms of being able to use it as a reference document. So I would say when you're looking up your articles for Unit 3 and Unit 7, if you want something that's peer reviewed, it's kind of a little bit more refined. That's what I wanted to say. Okay, so let's go back to the PowerPoint. Just wanted to give you an idea of things that you could do if you haven't seen that before. Okay, and I'm sure you guys have all seen the library before. I'm going to stop sharing that, and I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint. I always like to make sure I go over this information because there's quite some time that we see that a lot of people do not know how to use the library or the writing center. When you start writing your papers, I will be reviewing with a fine-tooth comb, and if I make a comment there, please contact the library or the writing center. Then make sure you follow up on that. Okay, you're not academians, but you are practitioners in safety, and we have to act in accord and write as such. Some other announcements, of course, by the library. They have a phone number, 3 ways to get in touch with them. They have chat. We just saw the chat. We saw the email. Here's the email, and we have the phone number. Chat is available 24/7. We'll talk with a librarian on the next live lecture because we're going to be looking up articles for our essay or for Unit 7. And then email and phone assistance is available from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., Monday through Thursday, and Friday from 8 to 6. So you can also see from time to time that I'll send you live instructional webinars that are offered from the library on a variety of topics. This is if you're continuing your education as a student with the university. These might be proven to be useful. All right, so your textbook. So your textbook is the 10th edition. Make sure you're referring to the right edition because there is a 9th edition that I used the last time I taught this. That's from 2019. The 10th edition is from 2023. Here's the online link to it, and then again the link for the library. All right, so like I said, moving forward, don't want to belabor on that. Some of the other course tools that we're going to talk about is APA formatting tools, and then how to use Microsoft Word, and then we'll talk about PowerPoint notes. So if you're writing the PowerPoint Module 3, if something can't fit on the slide, I've had several instances where students have had like 3 chapters in a book on one slide. That is not a PowerPoint that's conducive to me getting something out of it. Normally, you would want to at least put 5 high-level or less high-level bullet points on your slide and then refer to your notes or have a notes page. So we'll talk about that also. Okay. All right. So in-text citation, everyone familiar with how to utilize in-text citation in Word? Yes, no? Has anybody used it? Chime in. Yes? Okay, Jasmine, thank you. All right, so all the time. Okay, great. All right, so let's talk about it. All right, so in-text citation. So hyperlinks, number one, are not acceptable. And remember, if you're referencing anything, you're saying research shows or study shows, right after you say that, you're going to need to put a comma and where did you get this from? Because obviously that paragraph did not come from you. So you're going to say research shows or studies from ghost shows, whatever. So you're going to write in the text, you're going to write in what we call in-text citation. So there is a lot of folks who use footnotes at the bottom of a page. Footnotes do not follow APA guidelines, okay? Your citation text that the university uses does not follow this either with footnotes. So you need to follow APA guidelines. It's indicated in your citation guide. It's also indicated in APA. Okay, so footnotes is not acceptable. I have quite a few people who said, I've been out of school for a while, and they try to do the old school method with a number up top, and then they go to the bottom and they put all their footnotes for all their references. Well, I'm going to show you the easier way how to do this. This will take you through your career and as a student. So let me know if you can see this. I'm going to share something again. So when we talk about in-text citations, all right, just a second. I'm going to a Word document. Nope. And let me see if I can pull up this Word document. All right. And okay, screen share. Okay, let me see what comes up. Okay, and let me see if this works. Can you guys see that? Okay, no. Yes, awesome. Okay, so we have everything on the second screen. All right. Whew, okay, all right. So when you're doing in-text citations, I'm just going to put a little bit of a caveat here, and I'm going to put a space so everyone can see my character on my slide deck moving. This is now I'm in a Word document. So if I am citing something, and years ago, just to preface this, we had EndNote, Mendeley, and EndNote, Mendeley, and NVivo. These three tools were all separate and you had to purchase them. Now in Word, it's already built in. EndNote is built in. How many people have used EndNote that's already built in? Yes? Anyone? Have used EndNote? It's never. Okay. Yes, yes, no, no. Okay. So let's go over it. All right. So we are going over. So you're here. Awesome. Thank you for the reply and for the honesty, because a lot of people say, well, I said yes, but I really didn't know what I was referring to. So when you're in a Word document, and you're going to cite something, and you're going to do an in-text citation. That is different than a reference. A reference is at the end. So you go here to reference. Everybody can see my screen. I just hovered over reference, right? Everybody could see that. And I'm going to go down here to the drop down where it says insert a citation. And I'm going to add a new source. Now, the new source that comes up is going to say, well, what type of source are you talking about? Is it a website? And I'm going to say it's a website, or I'm going to say it's a journal article or a conference proceeding or whatever. Let's do a website. I'm just making this up, guys. This is a website. And we're going to say the website here is where everyone can see my screen. I'm just going to put in here, let's cancel that. The name of the webpage is OSHA. Well, no, let's say Bureau of Labor Statistics. Oh gosh, I gotta be able to spell this. Bureau of Labor Statistics. All right, okay, oh, I spelled it. Okay, that's the name of the webpage. It's also the name of the website. Okay, now I got this information from the website because I'm doing my assignment number 3 or my assignment number 7 right now. So I got this today. You're not going to put a website that I got it, ND, no date. That is not acceptable. So if you got this today, you're going to say 2026, April 1. And the URL is www.bls.org. I just made that up. And you're going to insert that into your document. So everyone can see it's been inserted into my document. And when I hover over it, everyone can see me hovering over it. Yes, no, because this is critical. I could tell when you submit your assignments if you did not do it like this. Okay, so I'm hovering over it and I'm going to go to the end right here. And I'm going to click, and it has a drop down. That drop down is going to tell me where that citation is and if I want to edit that source. And then it's also going to create a trailing library for me at the end. So at the end, it's going to say, here's your citation. Okay, so this is what I'm expecting from you guys. You're graduate students, right? Okay, so you're going to say research from, I don't know, research from the Bureau of Labor Statistics stated, okay? Labor statistics, and my spelling is so bad. I got so many things going on. Stated that incident rates, okay, exceeded da-da-da-da-da. I'm just making this up. Okay, so now that you know that you exceeded the norm from preceding years. I'm just making this up, right? Because we are on recording. So now that I said the Bureau of Labor Statistics, I need to reference that because you're going to keep going with your sentence. And your sentence is, okay, geez, my spelling, Bureau of Labor, okay, or research, or we could say something like, let's make it more feasible. Everybody's with me. Statistical research, okay, shows, okay, that incident rates, all right, are XYZ compared to 2025 to 2026 or something like that. Well, where did you get this research from? So this research shows that you got this information from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So we're going to go ahead and move that, or shows. Okay, I'm going to cut all of that, okay, and put it at the end. Okay, all right, I'm going over this for a while because I want you to get it right, period. Okay, so statistical research. Well, where did you get this statistical research from? You got it from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Here it is. Okay, now, as another, that's a live example. Any questions, or how did I do that? How can I go back over it? And the people who said no, do you have any questions? You saw it. Okay, any questions? All right, so when we're looking at, so that was a live example, and it's a terrible example. I spelled terribly. All right, so when I want to look at our book and I want to cite something from the book, so we went here to the book, research from, again, Ghosh stated it, and it's from the 2019 version of his book. So I go to, oh, the book. Well, Ghosh might have said it then in 2019. We can update this if it's the same. So that's just, this is from the last time I taught this several years back. But this is how the example should be written, okay? When you're citing in text from a book. If you're citing from a web page, I just showed you a web page, data from OSHA General Industry Standards, 29 CFR, shows that XYZ widgets on a chart below are made by whatever. Wherever you have OSHA.gov, you need to put in the date that you extracted this. So if I go back to edit that source, I'm going to be like, oh, John extracted this June 24th, 2025. Why is this critical? So if you put here OSHA.gov, and I see this all the time, comma, N period, D period, that link crashes 2 years from now when I'm grading your papers. I don't know where you got that from. You could have made that up. So you need to be putting it in this format. This is citing properly, not using it, this format is not following APA. This will be points off. So just make sure so doing this is not acceptable. Okay. So that's why I'm going over it. Okay. Another example. So here's how it should look at the end of your paper. At the end of your paper, it automatically does it for you. It says Ghosh 2019. Here it is, 9th edition, Pearson, and it puts it in the right format. So if you are citing the way that we state using insert citation, and you're going here by adding a new source, and you're going to the reference tab, anybody have questions, stop me now. So these are two different things I'm referring to. I'm referring to in-text citations and then your reference lists at the end. These are two separate things. Okay, any questions? I heard a beep. Any questions? Or quotations necessary? What do you mean, quotation marks? Or quotations like you quoted this from somebody? Like I quoted, I don't know, Ghost.
Quotation marks, correct.
Oh, no, quotation marks, not really necessary, but if you stated something like Ghosh stated. So if it's, good point, Mr. Wiley. So I've had that used with me also. If you are stating, for instance, let me go to an example, quotation marks that, oh gosh, why is this moving? Okay. Studies from Ghosh or something like that states that. So, and you're putting exactly what Ghosh said, then yes, you need to quote it. But most often you're not putting exactly what that person stated. I don't think so, right? You're actually rewording it in your own, like study shows that, or data from OSHA shows. But if you took this website and or this book and you used exactly what they stated. So Ghosh said the moon shows, you know, ellipses at midnight daily. That's not your words. That's Ghosh's words. So yes, then you would put quotes around that statement, and the quotes would be preceding and at the end with a period. Okay. And then you would put your citation there. So then you would go back, studies from Ghosh. So you would add in space. Now, when you're asserting a citation, you could always say, well, let me just click on the link. So this is the good part about doing it this way. You got the link already there. Okay. All right. And okay, from the author, that would probably be how it read, from the author Ghosh, and then you would say Ghosh said, and you're already having it there because it's already in your reference list. Okay. Now, if you're typing this in individually for each of these, as you get down the line in your studies, you're going to find it harder and harder. So learn this way. Okay. All right. Any questions? All right. So let's get back. So like I said, in-text citation examples. When I did my PhD, I started the coursework a little over 10 years, 11 years ago, finished almost 7 years ago. Microsoft Word reference tab, which I just showed you, in Vivo and Mendeley. They also have a couple other, Grammarly. They have other citation sources, but all of these were, you know, an extra fee. Like in Vivo and Mendeley, you know, 10 years ago, you had to pay for these. So now Microsoft Word actually has EndNote built in. So EndNote used to be a fee, and now it's Microsoft References, EndNote. Okay, and that's what I just showed you. Any questions? Okay. All right, so that's how to cite from a web page. If I click on it and it should show, if you're doing a PowerPoint, you do it in Word first because PowerPoint doesn't have this feature of reference. So you do it in Word and you copy that sentence to PowerPoint. Okay. Any questions on how to quote? Lower hand. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Hello. I have a question about the sources when citing. Is there a specific publication we're expect? So I would say nothing more or greater than 10 years. So good question. Unless it's like an OSHA document or, but when you're citing from OSHA, you're going to be citing from the website. So you're going to cite the date you extracted it from that website. But I would say documents or references less than 10 years is good. You only have to write in APA fashion and format for Unit 3 and Unit 7. So we spent half of the lecture going over this, so we're going to expect that, right? Everybody? Yeah? Yeah. Hello? Everyone got it? All right. Okay. So we will be clear on that. All right. Okay. Not that I am the professional person but I have written a lot of articles. So, and as part of my dissertation, it was actually a little bit crazy. Part of my dissertation, I wrote on my study, and that took longer. I was like, let me just finish, please. So finish with the dissertation and then publish the article. And literally the publication of the article was longer than the dissertation because that took about, oh goodness, I think that took about, I don't know, maybe about 2 or 3 years. But I mean, you're publishing in a professional journal, so they want to make sure that it is, been reviewed and there's no errors and all that kind of stuff. So this was the journal article. And what I mean by peer reviewed, it was peer reviewed and it has a DOI number. So just like my dissertation, it is in the, journal system or whatever you call it. Okay. All right. Library of Congress. I forget stuff. All right. So let's talk about the assignment. So we already talked about the discussion board, number 1, introducing yourself. Everyone, if you did that, it was due yesterday. You got 100 if you didn't do it or you didn't follow everything. So I'm a stickler. I have to follow a rubric that the university gave me, right? So that's how I stay employed with the university. And if you only give me, okay, my name is John and I'm from Philadelphia and that's it, I'm like, okay, where's the rest of his stuff? And then you are like, I only got a 20 on this. I'm like, yeah, because there were 10 other things that the assignment asks for. And the course writers, I did not write this course. We have university course writers at CSU. They wrote this and they're expecting you to answer, right? So make sure, I can't stress it enough. If it says give me 4 points and you only gave me 1, well, 4 divided into 1 divided into 4 is 25%. All right. So you're only going to get a 25. All right. So make sure you follow the instructions. If it says give me 4 things, you need to give me 4 things. Okay. So all you have to do, you can do it now. We're about to hang up in about 20 minutes. You just say, I attended the live lecture, hit submit. I took roll before we got started. I'll take it at the end. Like I told you earlier, there were some people who said they were on and they never were. And that just messes it up for everybody else. So make sure if you're really on, you're on. And if you're not, just give me 3 points if you're listening to this recording. Okay. All right. Discussion unit 2. So this is due by Saturday, the first initial post. It should be 300 words in length. And your initial post should include one AP formatted scholarly professional reference. So remember, I said Unit 2, Unit 3, and Unit 7. You will have to do the APA stuff. So make sure what we just covered, you're following the rules. And this is what you're writing about. So your first post is here. It's due Saturday, this Saturday. And then you have 2 follow-up posts is due on Tuesday to a classmate and then to a second classmate. So here's how that works, right? So if you're late to the game and you don't do your first one until Tuesday and nobody had a chance to comment on you. So there's 3 parts to this, everybody. 1, 2, 3. what do you think 1, 2, 3 equals? 33.3. So if you only did the first post and nobody else got a chance to comment on your next 2 posts, you're only going to get 33.3. Okay, so discussion posts are very critical. Other assignments, the university gives you a week grace period, 1 week grace period. Sometimes for the discussion posts, I also give you a week grace period, but you have to understand that it's like musical chairs. Somebody is waiting for you to comment and you're waiting for, so someone wrote a good IM post that we should exchange numbers on WhatsApp, and hey, maybe you might want to do that and say, hey, you and I were the last 2 who posted something. Can you review me and I'll review you, and back and forth or whatever. But keep in mind, if you don't post your first thing until the 7th and you're like, okay, I need somebody to, it might not happen. So you know, won't get the full credit. So, okay. Everybody understands that. And then, you know, once you get into other classes, there's also a thought-provoking question that it's asking at the end, like, okay, I got to give my opinion on this, and, you know, and get the feedback from the classmates. So if you don't provide anything until the last day, I can't imagine you expecting somebody to, you know, so again, read the instructions, make sure you follow it. Can't harp that enough. Okay, in my classes, I like to talk about the study guide, which includes the non-graded material. So, reason why I talk about this, because the study guide provides good information. It's there for your references. It goes over how to evaluate the regulatory environment and interpret key OSHA regs, because this is accident prevention. It talks about ANSI standards and their impact with NFPA and EPA. And then some of the unit learning objectives tells you what chapter to read in a book. So you already got the book, you bought the book, you might as well look at it, right? So unit learning objectives is the OSH Act, the standards, and then workers' comp. So make sure you're looking at the non-graded material. Also, a little tidbit and tip, a lot of times some of the questions on homework comes from the study guide non-graded material. So if you never look at that and you're like, I'm just looking at the assignments because I got 5 classes, then you're doing yourself a disservice. So make sure, once again, you're reviewing all of that. Okay. All right. Unit 3, PowerPoint. Okay, this is now the second time we're talking about something has to be written in APA style with citations and references. Oops, see, my says I have poor quality. Oh, I hope you guys, okay, I don't lose you. Okay, so for this assignment, 10 pages, right? Not counting the title and the reference slide. So I don't want 10 slides and 1 is the cover and 1 is the reference. You need 10 slides of material and then an extra 2 slides, which makes it 12, right? By my count. Now, if it goes a little bit longer than 12, that's fine. But if you are like, oh, barely made it, 10 slides, that's it, wrapping this up, then, you know, you're not following the instructions, okay? So make sure, I mean, you might have a good PowerPoint, but, you know, not following the instructions makes it, when I do my review in the rubrics, I'm going to have to say that, okay, you did everything right. You did not give me APA, or you did not give me a reference, or you did not meet 10 pages or 10 slides of content. Okay, so make sure you follow. And this assignment, it wants to make sure that you're demonstrating your understanding of accident causation models, human factor principles, workplace hazards, and relevant safety regs. So accident causation models, these could be things such as Heinrich model. These can be, you know, you can look at other types of causation models, but make sure you focus on what the question is asking, right, of you. All right, any questions about that? Okay, all right, and then how the human factor principles come into place. Okay. All right, so here's how the PowerPoint slide deck should look. If you just, you know, my thoughts, hey, if I want to make sure I got everything here, I'm just going to copy this. Okay, so as students and your graduate level work, bachelor level work, following instructions is half the battle, even if you write mush in between, right? But you follow the instructions. But You know, always make an outline. That's what I do. I always make an outline. This is what the professor is asking of me. So let me make sure I could check my list of these are the things that I'm going to do. So one is I'm going to have one slide introduction, and I'm talk about this, talk about that. Then I'm going to have 2 slides of this, and I'm going to talk about the hazards that contributed to the accident and the accident causation models. Okay. So I would just say, you know, can't hone in on it enough without giving you the answer, but make sure you follow the instructions. Okay. Any questions for Unit 3? Okay. Then we also have the non-graded material here. So Chapter 3 in the book. Yeah, I heard somebody beep in. Oh, Tina, nope. Okay, no questions. Thank you. Okay, so Chapter 3 in the book talks about, well, hey, there are some theories of the accident causation model. So you might want to read Chapter 3 before you start writing something, right? So again, make sure you look at the non-graded material because a lot of good stuff is embedded in there. Okay. All right. Okay. Now we're at Unit 4, the journal. Any questions thus far on 2, which is due, everybody knows, the 4th, Saturday, and the 7th. Then we have 3 that's due on the 14th. All right. Okay. Now, this one I think is really, really nice. This one is like, whoa, I can do this right now. You know, describe how to calculate the incident rate for musculoskeletal disorders. And should we write our PowerPoint notes as we're briefing? As if, yeah. So remember, because you're going to be submitting this to me, unless you're submitting a PowerPoint, you probably are submitting it as a PDF or whatever. I can't read the notes. So I got to be able to read the notes. So whatever format you provide the notes in. Okay. And if you're doing it as a PDF, saving it as a PDF and uploading it, then I can't see the notes. So you could include them on a separate Word document. Okay. So this is the notes for slide 1, notes for slide 2. Does that answer your question? Awesome. Thank you. All right. So Unit 4. This measures your mastery of the unit level objectives in 2.1. So the first thing here is you want to describe how to calculate the incident rate for MSDs and CTDs in the workplace. So not just giving me the formula, okay? I know the formula, right? Give me the formula, but tell me how to calculate. Like I take this number of cases times this, divided by that, okay? And then what do you believe? This is part 2. So if you just give me that and turn it in, then I'm not sure you know what following instructions mean. So the next part is, okay, there's 2 parts to this. Yeah, here's an easy A, right? The next part of it is, it says, now, what do you believe is the best approach you are familiar with for reducing the risk of MSDs and CTDs in a workplace, and explain your rationale, okay? This should be submitted as a Word document, must be at least 200 words in length. You don't have to do any citations, okay? Any questions about 4? Okay, all right. Then, as I stated, I always go over the module and then the non-graded. Okay, so while you're writing, okay, thank you for confirming. You might also want to go over, you know, the unit learning objectives by reading the chapter. Okay, and chapter 10 is on MSDs and CTDs. Okay, all right. Okay. 5 is another discussion board post. This is about the Congressional Review Act that OSHA goes through, and this is the ergonomic standard. So anyone who's been in the industry for a while, remember that this came about, I think it was like 2000 and something, but big thing about passing a standard for ergonomics. A lot of people said it's not going to work. How are you going to measure? Yada, yada, yada. So now you are taking an approach and you're acting as a regulator, a mediator, science, you know, subject matter expert, whatever, but you are going to be giving your opinion of OSHA's current approach to ergonomic issues in the workplace, and then what do you propose as an approach that you would believe would be better to address ergonomic issues. Okay, so again, 5, you also need to have at least one APA referenced article or your textbook, but put it in APA format. And again, discussion board posts, you are relying on everyone else to have something in so you can comment on it, because you got to comment after your initial post, Saturday the 25th. You got to comment on one other student by Tuesday the 28th, okay? So if you didn't start looking at this and you're late to the game, you might not have what you need. So make sure, you know, discussion boards are addressed in a timely manner, okay? So that is number 5. And then the non-graded stuff. The non-graded material that's in the study guide talks about unit learning objectives on mechanical hazards and machine safeguarding, and then also chapter 15 on falling, impact, acceleration and vision hazards with appropriate PPE. But basically, the whole part of this chapter and this unit is looking at effective safety and health management strategies for mitigating occupational injuries and illnesses. So again, mitigating occupational illnesses and injuries. Remember, you can come back here and talk about occupational injuries and illnesses that might have derived from someone suffering from an MSD in the workplace or CTDs in the workplace, okay? So always, always, always look at the study guide material. It's your best friend. It provides you with a lot of clues to what the assignment is about. And sometimes the assignments are taken right from there. All right. Okay, so I'm at the end of the module, and we will meet again on, let's see, I have us down meeting on live lecture number 6. On the 29th, and yep, on the 29th, here's my contact information. Take a picture of it before you go, and let me take a picture again of those who are here. And go ahead and do your affirmation that you attended the live lecture. So we will meet live lecture number 2, class 6, on again April 29th at 6 p.m. All right. Any questions for me? And let me take a picture. All right. So I'll know if you said you were on the live lecture, because I think there's 23 of us, right? In the class, 23 or 24 people in the class. So knowing that, only 14 were there. All right. Yep. Okay. The Johns have responded. Oh, Brian. Yes, Brian, you have a question?
So I'm taking a second class, and the live lecture is the same day at the same time. Do you just want me to listen in and or do the answer the 3 question thing?
Yeah, so I also have live lecture for another class that I'm doing at the same day also. And that's my live lecture number 1, because class for, I think it's, what is it, unit 5A26? Yeah, that's module, not module, semester 5A26 starts the week before on the 22nd. So the first live lecture will be on the 29th. And I'm also doing a live lecture, but it'll be right after I talk to you guys. So if you have that situation going, like you're doing, like Brian, and you're going to be registering for 5A26 on April 22nd, classes start. So your live lecture 2 will be on the 29th. Just kind of pick whatever one you think might be good for you to join, or just listen to the, listen to the recording afterwards. I'm going to have the same kind of format, PowerPoint. I'm going to be going over 6, 7, 8, and you do have a module homework for unit 6. So not just a live lecture, you're also going to have the affirmation as well as an assignment for 6. So I'll go over that, 7, 8, and then the end of course evaluation. But if you can't make it, thank you for mentioning that, then just listen to the recording next time on the 29th of April. Yeah, if you can't make it. Any questions? Good question. Thank you for bringing that up. Yep. All right. Well, I think that takes care of it for everything I wanted to cover tonight. This is your opportunity. If you have any other questions, to go ahead and ask me. If you wanted to go ahead and send me an email or whatever, you can do that also if you don't want to ask on the phone. But again, I thank you, and I look forward to talking with you all on the 29th. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording. And okay, great. Oh, and Joseph, you're from Philly. That is my hometown also.